Let's talk about those WrestleMania Showcase matches. I mean, we've talked about it privately over text. I mentioned I vented my frustration in article form and in audio form various times in the last couple of days. I don't give a fuck. Now, listen, I understand why they're doing it. I'm not saying it's a completely bad idea. The whole idea is to get more people on the show. Great for those people, for Braun for being on Mania. The guy just came back, probably for no less than what was, I assume, a pretty good deal back in the fall. I'm glad Ricochet, Ricochet's great. Chad Gable, the Profits are awesome. The OT stuff is entertaining. I love Alpha Academy. The match makes no sense. And the whole, listen, get everyone on the show for a paycheck. I'm happy for them in that respect. From a wrestling fan match standpoint, like, what am I looking forward to? This is not it. I mean, this is literally the bathroom break of both shows, the men's and the women's matches. And honestly, if you were going to do them, then put forth more of an effort to build towards them. I would assume we're not getting an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which does not bother me in the slightest. I know you can argue this is as meaningful as that. I would rather watch a Battle Royal than this shit. I mean, this is going to be as entertaining. I mean, honestly, probably from an in-ring standpoint, this will be a better match. I will say that. But if there's no stakes, at least the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner gets a fucking trophy, which might be more of a curse than a blessing, I guess, considering the last couple of people that have won it. But still, I mean, the showcase matches, no tag team title shot on the line. They're just having matches, no real rhyme or reason for why certain people are in there and other people aren't. I mean, maybe you have a different opinion, but this is the bathroom break of both nights to me. I mean, this is something that would feel like a pre-show match, but they'll probably put it on the main card.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just not as. I mean, I don't think I'm not like, oh, I can't wait for the showcase matches, but I guess I'm just not as down on as you are. I mean, I think both nights will need something just to cool the crowd off. But I also think I wouldn't say it's like particularly putting people on the show, put them on the show. Like if they're actually going to put some kind of emphasis on the tag team division once, like the Usos drop the belts and they're actually going to split up the belts and actually try to make a tag team division. Okay, I understand it to a point. Like you said, it's not like they qualify. There was really any rhyme or reason these four teams made each match. But if like they're actually going to put forth an effort to actually build a tag team division, okay, I guess I understand it a little bit more. But if it's just to have a match to cool the crowd down, I don't overly love that. But I feel like it might, like the reason it's a showcase to kind of show the teams that they have, to then theoretically make the tag team division like actually mean something. So I guess maybe I'm giving the company a benefit of the doubt, but I feel like I've heard that Triple H really wants like the tag division to get built up and split the belts up and all that other stuff. So I guess I could eat my words in a month or two when the tag division still sucks, but I think as like a I just feel like the point of it saying like a showcase is to like show off the division or show like people like other things going on, and we're going to show you these teams. And once the division start getting a thing, it's like, I guess it's like in a way like what they theoretically would do with like new talent. Like, oh hey, like instead of Bronson Reed and all these random people showing up on Raw and SmackDown, like you put them on a match at the big stage, like, oh look at these teams we have, so that people like can kind of get aware to them, and then once you start having like an attacking division and actually pushing people and doing feud, like people know who they are. I feel like that's the point of it. But maybe, like I said, maybe they're just making me think like a business would make me think, because that's what a showcase should be. Yeah. And then they're just going to do nothing. So I guess maybe I'm more optimistic right now. Like I said, I could be eating my hat in a month, but as of now, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not like overly excited, but I understand if that's the direction they're going in, I understand why they would do it.
They've been doing this for a decade, whether it be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal or the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal or the multi-team tag team matches. They have not been able to replicate what the Money in the Bank ladder match has succeeded in that being that it got as many people on the show as possible, people that made sense, and that to me was the real showcase of people that were not busy in other programs. I feel like if you had a Money in the Bank ladder match, which I guess this would have been the year to do it, and I know they're getting rid of gimmick pay-per-views. I'm fine with the Money in the Bank staying a show, just because, Triple H told all of us you can't challenge someone to a Money in the Bank ladder match. Of course, that makes sense, I guess. But, I've always loved the show. The show has always been a lot of fun, so I get it. I understand that. I do think it's tailor-made for WrestleMania, and they just haven't been able to replicate that. I feel like if you had those matches at Mania this year, LA Knight would have a spot, undoubtedly. Karrion Kross, Bronson Reed, Liv Morgan, Raquel, Tegan Knox likely. I mean, the list goes on and on. Instead, you're having, specifically with the women, the men's match is lazy. The build is lazy, but at least those are 4 teams that are teams. I mean, Braun and Ricochet have been teaming for only a few months, but they're still like a team, technically. The women, Liv and Raquel, I mean, they weren't even on SmackDown since Elimination Chamber. I mean, what the fuck are we even doing here? I mean, I'm glad they're going to be on the show. They deserved it. Liv Morgan specifically. I mean, she had a pretty good year. She was SmackDown Women's Champion. She beat Ronda Rousey twice. She got over. Did nothing, but, she had a pretty good summer. And I think she deserves to be a WrestleMania. But I think there's... listen, I'm not on the creative team. But I feel like a Money in the Bank ladder match or esque match like that would accomplish that more than just doing a random team match. I mean, like you said, if it's meant for the tag team division, then great. But I feel like, especially with the women, these teams will not stick together beyond WrestleMania if the rumor teams are true.
Well, I'm trying to think. Like, what would your thoughts be if they, not per se did Money in the Bank, because, I mean, I feel like you said, I like that zone pay-per-view. They're getting rid of beginning pay-per-views. Can't challenge them with Money in the Bank. I think it's a great pay-per-view, so we should just keep Money in the Bank regardless. But, like, I guess my question would be, like, what would your thoughts be if they did, like, a 4-way or something like that for the women and men to get, like, a title opportunity? Like, would you still be out on that? Like, LA Knight cross someone else and someone else for like an Intercontinental or United States or one of the whatever a title opportunity for a belt, and then you can do the same thing with the one. Would you like that better, or like just like?
I would actually.
I guess that's my question. Like, would you want like a ladder match, and like it's not for the Money in the Bank, but it's like a number 1 contender match? Like, I feel like ladder matches are kind of just done to death at this point. So, would you rather like a fatal 4-way for like a title opportunity or something like that more than like the showcase?
Personally, yes, because I know it gets less people on the show, which, I'm sorry to the talent. I mean, if they're getting paid to be there, again, I can't completely shit on it because it's great for them, I guess. I would just prefer less people, like less, like the fact that there's 4 teams, that sounds like it should be a mess. I'm sorry. But 3 teams is one thing. We had a triple threat tag team match last year, and it was a lot of fun. 4 teams sounds like a mess. It doesn't even make sense. The match that you proposed at least would have stakes. I honestly love the idea of a ladder match. I mean, it basically is a Money in the Bank ladder match, except for a mid-card title, although you can cash in Money in the Bank for a mid-card title, according to Austin Theory, apparently, as we saw last year. The problem with that, though, as you mentioned, they've done ladder matches to death in all the companies, specifically WWE and AEW. We see it all the fucking time. We're getting one at Stand and Deliver that day. I wish they didn't do them as often, because ladder matches should be 4 shows like WrestleMania, and they shouldn't be doing them every other month like we've seen in these companies. It's just so dumb. I think AEW, to give them credit, I think they've got a great concept in the Casino Battle Royal. The problem with that, though, is that they do it every couple of months. They don't do it once a year. They do it like at All Out. They do it on Dynamite. They do it at Double or Nothing. Same thing with WrestleMania. I mean, we see Battle Royals all the time. Who gives a shit at this point? And they usually feature nothing but losers anyway. But I feel like the roster is so stacked now that if you were to have... And also, the Andre... I love Andre, no disrespect, but they would have to rebrand that. Like, a Battle Royal also accomplishes that, but the problem is that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal has no value at this point, because every winner has either been fired or de-pushed. So I feel like finding a happy medium there would be best. Or the 4-team match I'm sure is going to be great, but specifically with the women, why the fuck would Raquel and Liv even want to team up if there's nothing on the line? That just doesn't make any sense to me at all. That's my big gripe.
I get that. Like I said, I get it. I feel like the more and more we discuss the tag team division, I know it's still, I mean, you put the belts on Lita and Becky, it's not like it got better. Like, they haven't done shit with them. It's tough. I just feel like they have a tough time specifically booking interesting things with the women that doesn't belong, like a title. There's no title involved.
Yeah, no, we've talked about this, yeah.
Suck anyways. And we've talked about this 100 times. I just feel like at this point, like, if they can't figure out a tag title, like, anything for the tag belts, at that point, just scrap them. Because you're putting them on people. Okay, so once Becky and Lita lose them, are they going to actually do anything with them? Or are we just going to have people that hold them and do nothing? So, honestly, I think I'd rather them get rid of the tag belts. At that point, if they got rid of the tag belts, I'd rather them just like, I know there's so many belts and all this shit. At that point, just make like a mid-card women's belt. I feel like, not like I said, not everything has to be about women, about belts in specific, but they just can't do it. And it sucks because not everything should be about a belt and not everyone should have one, but they haven't had like an interesting women's feud, realistically, without the belts, besides like Becky and Bayley, but they're also two top women. Like,
yeah.
Where we have Liv going crazy against Sonya, who cares? And I understand what they're trying to do, it just doesn't work. And
Nope.
besides that, I couldn't even tell you another feud that we've had. So, if like I said, I'll hold out hope. I think Triple H, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, I could be eating my hat in a month. I think they're meant to showcase potentially tag division. Like I said, why would they want to tag up together? I have no idea. There's no really rhyme or reason. They just threw these teams together. We'll see what happens. I'm not overly excited, but I think they'll be the men. I think will be a good match. The women, we'll hold judgment there. But like I said, I'm holding a hope that there's actual reason for this.
I hope so. I mean, the real reason is that, again, to get everyone on the card, but I would hope that between now and then they do add some stakes. We're a week away from the event. They probably won't. It could be worse. I mean, these are all very talented people. That men's match would be a lot of fun. The women's match, based on who I've heard, could be in it. Makes sense, and I'm looking forward to it. I just wish they would put more effort into these things and figure these things out sooner than a fucking 2 weeks before WrestleMania. I mean, I shit on AEW for adding matches to their card the week before, and they have 4 months build. WWE's had a long time to figure this out. Triple H has had a while. I know injuries and shit happen. Listen, I totally get it. But especially with the men's match, it's like at that point, if you're going to announce it 2 weeks before, either put it on the pre-show or don't do it at all. That just seems lazy to me. And you're like, oh, then why doesn't anyone care about this match? Because there's no fucking reason to care about this match. And people are in the bathroom. I mean, that's just what it is. And I feel bad for the talent more than anything.